Welcome in on the BRSN Insider. I'm sitting down with head track coach Henry Brun. Coach, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me again.
Competed at William Jewell a couple of weeks ago. Strong showing again by your men and women's team. Take us through that meet.
It was a pretty good meet for us. Gave us some decent competition. Earlier in the season, we were going to some smaller meets. The Baker Relays went to Central Methodist. So it kind of gave us a different perspective on where we stand in the conference and against some other good competition. Division II competition was there too. Some relays did well. Our men's and women's 4x1 teams got some good times. Our 4x400 teams did really well. Our women's team broke the school record. We had some individual performances across the board, looking pretty solid. Just kind of adding to what the season has already been for the outdoor season, kind of improving on the performance list. People dropping time gradually. Our throwers did well. Our female throwers had some good performances that weekend. It was really nice kind of measuring stick for us a few weeks out from conference.
Speaking of a couple of those individual performances, Bob Bardish in the 1500 finished second. What did you think of his performance?
He was a couple tenths away, I think, from the school record that Luke Fries hit the week before. And he's been looking pretty strong as of recent. Any race that you throw him in, he's going to be pretty competitive. And it's really fun to watch him right about now. He had a pretty solid 800 this season so far too. 157 is his best, and he's trying to get down to 156 or 155. So I'll be excited to see what he does along with Luke in the 1500 at the conference meet next weekend. Their goal is to get to 4 minutes or faster. So we'll see how that one pans out for him.
And then on the women's side, you had Lucy Layton finish first in the 5000. What did you see from her?
It was a huge drop for her. I want to say it was about a 20-second drop. She's looking pretty strong this season too. She's on fire as well. Any race that you really put her in, she's going to compete well. I really think that she, on the track, definitely put in some performances. Off the track is a big encourager of her peers, mid-distance and distance runners too. So it's kind of becoming contagious. Her performances on some other girls and seeing their improvements too, trying to improve in the performance list in their respective events.
Now after that, you guys moved into the K. You realized a lot of big name schools, some big names, D1. What did you think of the performance?
So KU Relays is a fun meet because we get to take some of the athletes that are on that edge, right on the cusp of national caliber competition, and this is pretty much a dress rehearsal. So you're going to go out there, and we have to put in entries. They take the top so many entries to get accepted into the meet. We took a total of, I want to say, 20 athletes, which is the largest amount that I think the program has taken to the KU Relays, which was a good sign for us. And I really wanted to put some of the athletes in a position where they knew that they were forced to compete well. And it was nice because some of the people they're competing against, they've never seen this season, and they're not going to see again. A lot of Oklahoma teams that came, Nebraska teams came, some teams from the South. So it was really nice, good competition. Performances across the board were really good. Hannah Pinkerton in the steeplechase ran a 12:05. She's only 3 seconds away from the school record. I think there's still some things there she can improve on in order to qualify for nationals. It's a stretch, but I think it's something that could potentially happen for her. The women's 4x800 relay qualified for nationals. The men's 4x800 relay is about 3 seconds away from nationals, so they had a good showing. Our men's and women's 4x4s did exceptional. We went in seeded we were last and second to last in the entire competition, knowing we had to go out there and run fast. The women's team dropped a significant amount of time from the week before when they broke the school record at William Jewell. They're only 3 seconds away from national championships. The men's team dropped 4 seconds from earlier in the season. They're only 3 seconds from national championships. Will Wallace did exceptionally well in the 400 hurdles. He finished 6th overall, and he hit the A standard. He's sitting at number 6 in the NAIA right now. Nora Bingaman dropped a full second from her previous best earlier in the season. She's only a second away from qualifying for nationals in 400 hurdles as well. So it was a pretty exciting weekend. And it was exactly what we needed to kind of get ourselves prepared for conference and then leading up to the national championships.
Well, speaking of, what kind of a cool opportunity for you guys, you get to fly out to Michigan and compete in a race one day. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we're going to go out. We're leaving tomorrow morning, Friday, to go to Hillsdale College, and he's competing in the Gina Relays. And this weekend is a big weekend for track and field. There's the Penn Relays at UPenn. There's the Drake Relays at Drake. And the Gina Relays is a similar regional meet. We put in entries to see if he could compete there in the 110 hurdles and the 400 hurdles, and he made the championship rounds for both of those. So he's going to be competing on Saturday in those. He's in the middle of the pack there in the 110 hurdles. We're hoping that he can keep dropping time there. He might have a chance to qualify in the 110s. In the 400 hurdles, he's seeded second overall. So he has a legitimate chance to win the championship at that meet. I think it'll be a pretty cool experience for him. We're treating the last few meets here as like a championship tour for him, seeing that the main goal for him is to make that podium at the national championships in May in the 400 hurdles.
Senior leader, what have you seen from him since you've been here?
He's a workhorse. I mean, he's very diligent in the work that he does. He's very encouraging to his peers, men and women. We're out at the track. He takes practice pretty seriously. He takes competition pretty seriously. And he's the go-to guy whenever we need something. I mean, he's the anchor in our 4x400 relay, and he's that for a reason. And he comes to work whenever it's time to step on the track. So it's really been good to see his progression this season.
You talked about that championship tour. First up, the conference tournament. What are your expectations from your team for the conference tournament?
It's going to be a little harder for the women's team to repeat from indoor to outdoor as conference champions. Catherine Dillard had some knee injuries. She's actually out for this outdoor season. She hasn't been able to compete at all this season. With that, we lose some significant points for the conference meet. We lose her in some relay opportunities as well. We pick up some points in the throws because we picked up 3 female throwers who throw the javelin, the discus, and they're going to help us out significantly there. And for us, it's kind of just going out and, like an indoor, just having a good showing. For the most part, we're all really healthy. Mentally, we're focused to go out there and compete. We're in the best shape that we've been in all season. And if everything kind of falls into place, I think we'll be competing for that top spot. Mid-American is definitely going to be someone that's going to be competing hard against us. Grandview has competitive field events, so I think it's going to be pretty tight again on the women's side. On the men's side, we are going to do fairly well. I think we've definitely improved from the indoor season. We finished, 5th indoors. I think we're looking to finish, improve on that 5th place finish. Hopefully, best case scenario, be a top 3 finisher.
Following that, a couple weeks after that, nationals. Already some athletes qualify. Are you looking to qualify more athletes from the conference tournament or improve from a B standard to an A standard?
Yeah, the 4x400 relays for the men and women, we're going to take a crack at the national qualifying times at the conference meet. We know that we're running for time. The women's 4x4 is first in the conference in the 4x4 by about 7 seconds. So they're literally running against the clock and no one else. The men's team, they're seeded second in the conference to Baker, and Baker's number 5 in the NAIA right now. So if they want to qualify, that's the perfect race for them to do it. Nora Bingaman in the 400 hurdles. If we can't do it this weekend, we're going to be taking a crack at it next weekend. And then the men's 4x8, this will be the last opportunity that they have to drop those couple seconds to hit the standard to go. So best case scenario, we'll be taking about 20 people to go, and it's close. It's going to be close this weekend and next weekend. And then, worst case scenario, we go and find a last chance meet to try to sneak in a competition to see if we can go. But it's looking pretty promising across the board.
What are your expectations for those athletes that are going to be competing in the national tournament?
For Will, this is his last chance at nationals. He's gone a number of times. He has not been an All-American. It's been a very encouraging experience for him to go and discouraging experience to go and leave with nothing every single time. So for him, it's to make the podium. And our goal since August was to win. So we've been dropping time significantly each week because we want to win the national title. And a good consolation would be to be on the podium, to be an All-American. Hannah Wander in the 800, she was national runner-up indoors. Times have gotten faster for her. We want to make the podium again, but we definitely want to improve on what indoor looks like as far as time, and then let the race kind of dictate where she's going to end up. And as far as the relays go, we're going to be going, and we know that we're not going to be in the top of the standings in the country. It's more of one of those experiences to get the experience, and there's nothing to lose once we get there. So as long as we can continue improving and show the best that we can, if we make it to the national championships, that's all really I want to see.
Beautiful.
So,
beautiful. Coach, thank you very
hey,
much. Best
thank
of
you.
luck to
Appreciate it.
Head coach Henry Brun of the Benedictine College track team on the BRSN Insider. BRSN Insider. I'm sitting down with head coach Amanda Magee of the Benedictine College women's lacrosse team. Coach, how are you?
I'm very well. How are you doing?
Good, good. Of course, doing very well. NAIA National Tournament coming up. Started in the KCAC Conference Tournament with an 11-10 win over Mo Valley. Take us through that game.
That was a very exciting game, similar to the first time that we played them. We lost by 1. That was our second game back on March 5th, I believe, 5th or 6th. They have a couple very, very fast ladies on their team. Number 8, their center. She is probably the fastest girl I've ever seen in my life. And she has a wonderful technique when she picks up that ground ball. So that a lot of that week we were practicing on slowing her down, stopping the fast break so they could go into the slow break, and we had time to settle and pick them up on defense. And we struggled a little bit with that in the first half. And then same thing, second half, a little bit more of their fast breaks and whatnot. And we came up with enough, with 11 goals, 1 more than them. So it was very, very nice to get a little bit of revenge off of them in the regular season. And we won when we needed it the most.
Moved on to Ottawa, a team that you'd beaten before. Beat them again 12-8 to win the KCAC Conference Tournament. Solidify yourself in the national tournament. Take us through that game.
That is probably the best I have ever seen the ladies play. I felt, and I think they felt it also, that there was no way they were leaving that day without the championship. There was just an energy around them and the buzz, and I didn't feel like they were nervous at all. We had played this team, really recently, about a week before. So we knew exactly what to expect. We knew what we needed to get done, and I feel like we really just controlled the pace of that game. And in the second half, we kind of stalled out for a little bit. There was 14 or 15 minutes left, and we just blew it out on offense and played a little bit of keep away to kill some time off that clock. But they played with their hearts that game, and it was a done deal.
As a coach, when you see a team for the second time, do you try and throw a new wrinkle at them or prepare a different way, or it worked the first time, we're going to do the exact same thing again?
We kind of just we kept a lot of the same of what we did before. We had Lizzie this time, so that was definitely different. And she is what I call kind of my coach out there on the field. So she reads the field very well in the play. And like I said before, with moving from the fast break to the slow break to the setup offense. So it was wonderful to have her for this game. We didn't change much on defense. We did not face guard any of their ladies. They have a couple girls, number 22 and 23, who are probably their best players, but I didn't think we needed to face guard them for that game. So a lot of the same, and I think we just possessed the ball a lot better this second game playing them.
So with the conference, when you move on to the national championship as the 8 seed, you get the 1 seed in SCAD Savannah. What are your expectations?
I actually just got to watch them play earlier this morning. They are also in the NWLL, which that whole tournament is going on right now. So I saw them play Tennessee Wesleyan this morning, who is the number 8 seed. And Tennessee was doing great against them. They were winning the first half. So the seeds and all those numbers don't really mean much to me. They're a very good team, but I think we're a very good team also. So I was able to pick up some things and certain tendencies and plays that they have and little tricks on their goalies and what we'll need to do to fake them out. But they are most definitely beatable.
You don't play until next Wednesday down in South Carolina. What's preparation going to be like?
Well, preparation this week has been a little difficult. The ladies have been having to shuffle their schedules around and get their finals taken care of since we will be leaving on Sunday morning. So practice this week has been very positive, very light, just making sure they're getting a lot of touches. We played basketball on Monday because the weather was bad, and basketball and lacrosse are actually a lot more similar than people think with setting picks and defensive stances and just the footwork and all of that. So I want to keep it light for them. I want to keep it fresh for them. I want them to stay engaged and not be stressed out by this amazing opportunity because they have so much going on academically right now. So now that I was able to see SCAD, we'll work on some stuff today and tomorrow and Saturday and really get us prepared for Wednesday.
For you to hear that, being as a first-year head coach and hearing your team being in the NAIA National Tournament, what does that mean for you?
It's really amazing, and I had such high expectations for them this year, just knowing what talented athletes they are, but they have far exceeded my expectations, and I am so proud of them already to make it to this step of going to the first ever national tournament. So it's very, very exciting, and I just keep telling them, make sure you're soaking it up, make sure you're enjoying this, and I need to keep also telling myself that too, because I know it doesn't happen all the time.
Speaking of that, you won the Coach of the Year in the KCAC. What does that mean to you?
That is also so exciting and so nice and very humbling to get that award from your peers and people, other coaches who I respect a lot. That meant a lot to me, and just seeing Missouri Valley, who we beat the day before we beat Ottawa, and they said, hey girls, we're rooting for you to win this whole thing. I think the camaraderie that is in the KCACU right now with the coaches and the teams is something really special.
Lizzie and Juju, both first team all-conference players, 1-2 in goals. What have you seen from them this year with facilitating the offense?
I am so proud of them, and Lizzie has a lot more experience than Juju does, so I expected that immediately from her. But with Juju, just seeing her from the first game to now, it is crazy how much she has improved, and you can tell she is so much more confident in herself and in her stick skills, and when she can take it 1v1 to cage and just go on that fast break. So I am so proud of them, and very, very much well-deserved.
And then you had Caitlin Chicky make it twice as the draw specialist and a midfielder, and then Chiara Petruccelli and Shannon Groh on the defense. What have you seen from the three of them?
They work their butts off, and if they're on that field, they're giving 110% no matter what. So it was wonderful to see them receive those accolades. Chicky is a huge part of our success in the midfield and just being a constant there. Generally, I do not sub her out. She pretty much plays the entire game no matter what. Same thing with Shannon and Kiki. So to have them on the second team, and you know, a lot of the times you don't get a lot of recognition when you're a defender. So I think for them to see that, hey, people see me making a difference, that was huge.
They kind of fly under the radar a little bit. Susie's been pretty good between the posts for you. What have you seen from her lately?
She has been coming up clutch when she needs to. Against Missouri Valley, she had a couple really, really great saves against Ottawa. And I think the same thing with her. The more experience she has, the more confident she becomes in herself. It's tough being a freshman goalie and not knowing how these other teams shoot. The more she plays them, she'll kind of understand what certain girls on each team, what their sweet spot is, where they like to shoot. So that just comes with her having more experience, and the more she sees these teams, she'll understand that.
Fantastic. Coach, thank you very much.
Thanks so much.
Best of luck to you next week at the national tournament. Safe travels.
Thank you.
Head coach Amanda Magee of the Benedictine College Women's Lacrosse Team on the BRSN Insider.